I'm Saman.
And I'm Sweekriti.
And you're watching the Pregame Diaries. Let's do a three-way clink.
Dating life in the industry. These girls are spilling tea.
You're watching the Pregame Diaries with Saman and Sweekriti.
As you can see, we have one extra person today. Our very
do.
first special guest.
We're doing our big one today.
We're doing our big one.
We got the
for
guests.
sure.
We got the three people.
Definitely. But yeah, I just wanted to disclaimer, and also I already mentioned this before, but everything that you see online, especially when it comes to astrology and especially when it comes to pop astrology, you have to take it with a grain of salt. Like you guys are talking about learning about like the placements in like the houses, and that's great and gives you good information, but we're more than that placement.
Yeah.
We're a whole chart, and it depends on the aspects, it depends on the time, it depends on so many other things as well.
If
So
you're
it's
gonna
like
do your research, do your research.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
yes.
you can have the same placement as someone, but it's still going to be completely different.
Yeah,
And a different warning I had. Looking up things like that is kind of like eating junk food, the same way that TikTok is. You'll never be fully satisfied because you won't have the full chart put together.
That's really
advice,
interesting,
yeah.
actually. That's a good. We're really eating up these like metaphors. Okay.
We here. Okay, so who wants to go first, Saman or Sweekriti?
Sweekriti can go first.
Oh my god.
So before we get into this, a solar return is basically a chart that you get every birthday. Every birthday you get a brand new chart that tells you how the year is going to go, and it's basically when the sun returns into the exact same position it was in when you were born. For example, I'm a Capricorn, so when the sun is in Capricorn, when the sun is wherever it is, January 11th, I get a new chart that year, and it shows me a lot about that year. And if you really have the time and if you're really advanced, you can compare it to your natal chart and it'll show you even more. Something really fun I found out when doing research was a lot of like people who blew up, a lot of like celebrities who got fame had a lot of specific indicators in their solar return chart, and like a lot of people who became mothers like had certain things like Uranus in the 5th house that showed
Uranus.
Mm-hmm.
that they were gonna have some changes there. So yeah.
I'm like, I need to see.
Yeah.
So like it's solar return, right?
Yeah.
So it's like from your birthday. So it's like my 24th.
Yeah.
year.
Think about that for like any planet though. Like
You could be
Venus
like
return.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you can do this with any planet.
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
just focusing on the solar.
Yeah.
Yes.
The solar is self. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Are you ready?
Girl, I've been ready for weeks.
Okay, so
I feel like I need a drink. Let me take a sip.
okay, so your first
Also,
house.
Sorry, not to make sure it's recording.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's still recording.
Perfect. Sorry.
Wait, we
Let's
can
start
edit that
that one
part out.
too.
Oh yeah, let's just start.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Sweekriti, for your 24th year, your sun is in your first house alongside your Mercury, and your rising sign is in Libra. So that's a lot of energy and attention in your first house. Now that normally happens when you turn 24 because that is
Your first
math.
house year.
Yes. So with your sun and your Mercury being in your first house, automatically you're going to be a lot less shy, a lot more outspoken, a lot more extroverted. Your opinions and your identity is going to be very like loud, front and center. You will definitely be working on your appearance this year with Mercury. Mercury is a very fast planet.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also like if you were to like start running, like there's this joke that a lot of people start running when they hit like their mid-20s, even though I don't consider 24 to be
running a marathon.
but like that's that. So like if you were to pick up running, like trust me, you would get snatched. That's what Mercury in the first house like normally does. Like a lot of like
so
people
just,
That does
like,
make a lot of sense.
Habits and things that
Like fast
measure
things.
appearance, like for appearance.
Yeah, and then with your sun there, you're like just putting and pouring so much energy into how you come across.
This is interesting because I've definitely been feeling that for sure. Because like something I've noticed is every time I'm like in like a relationship with someone or whatever, that's when like my focus is not on my appearance.
Yeah.
So like, but once I'm like you know when like you break up with someone, you have to glow up.
I'm like, bitch.
That's exactly how I've been feeling lately.
Yeah.
Where I'm like reinvesting the energy onto me. And I'm a makeup girly, so I'm always like want to experiment, change things up.
That makes a lot of sense because your rising sign is in Libra, and that was the next thing I was going to talk about. Like how you come across mainly in like partnerships. Like when your ascendant is in Libra and you have like planets in that house, you're putting out into the world what you expect your partner to see from you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I feel like I've met a lot of Libra risings.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like is that a good placement to have?
Libra risings? I mean it depends.
The only thing I know about Libra risings is they have pretty faces.
I would say Virgo is more.
It's probably a stereotype.
Yeah. So yeah, also this is like overlaying your 10th house in your natal chart. So with all of this energy, you're going to be if you want a creative career, this is going to be the year of you putting in like all the effort and energy into making that happen. And not just like saying it to like make you like, because you know when people hear that they like feel flattered, but like that's not what I'm like. That's not what I'm saying. Like it's less about flattery and it's more about putting in the work, putting in the hours, you know. So that's that energy there because it's right on top of your 10th house natally. You also have your sun there natally, so you could be activating something that like you could be starting a habit this year that is career oriented and it will be lasting like for the majority of your life.
Yeah.
So second house is in Scorpio with Venus. Okay.
Scorpio,
so
Venus.
Your first house is in Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is in the second house. So a lot of your focus and energy this year is also going to be going into your finances, your possessions, your sense of self, and your security, and what you eat. Well, that is going to be
no, that is so accurate. Especially the like what you eat.
Couldn't get Domino's today. Let me stop.
No, but like it's accurate. It's accurate.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's gonna be a very big part. You're going to be finding a lot of like ways to like romanticize these aspects of your life because it is like this is the Venus planet, so you're going to be romanticizing your possessions, your finances, how you make money, what you eat. You're going to be finding ways to make it like enjoyable basically. And then your second house, like it's in your second house, so this year you may be finding like finances will be like, when Venus is in the second house, a lot of people misinterpret this to mean that like money is going to come easily, but oftentimes it just kind of means that you will be easier with money. Does that make sense?
Kinda and kinda
not.
Like instead of like let's say you don't increase your income. Instead, you will be spending less, so that way you'd feel more financially comfortable.
Okay.
Like you'll just be like easier
I
around money.
Yeah.
Third house is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is in your 9th house. So if you happen to travel this year, you will be making lots of like long-term close friendships through that. What else? Third house, Sagittarius. You could honestly like learn something new, worthwhile. It could have a lot to do with philosophy or your outlook on life or, you know, religion, spirituality, whatever. Like your outlook on life could be something that you're learning and working on this year. Your 4th house, you have your moon and Pluto. So that's like, so when it comes to like your family and your house and like your home situation, you're going to be like dealing with, anytime I see Pluto anywhere in the chart, it's a roller coaster. It's you get a high, you get a low, right? But like these things happen for a reason, and with your moon right next to it, it's showing like these things are very important for your sense of self, for, you know, your emotions, for how you're feeling. Your feelings could be controlling your relationships with your family, and you might have to watch out for being emotionally volatile when you're around your family. It's ruled by Capricorn.
What does volatile mean?
Huh?
I know what it means, but like, what does it mean?
What do you mean?
Like when you're like emotionally volatile.
Oh, it just means like. How do I even describe that?
Like I know what the word means, but like
you're like
I'm trying to apply it to like this context.
Maybe like you overreact.
Oh,
or you're being a bit dramatic.
My family says that to me all the time. Yeah.
So yeah, just
okay.
Watch out for that. But yeah, there's nothing like insane though, because it's not a conjunction. The moon isn't touching Pluto. It just happens to be in the same house. Fifth house is in Aquarius. Oh wow. Okay. My fault. Fifth house in Aquarius, you were definitely wow, this actually ties into a lot. So your fifth house is in Aquarius, which means that you are going to be taking this year to form hobbies that are going to be something that you really enjoy to do on a day-to-day, on a like week-to-week. Like some people start biking, some people start doing things, but with fifth house, that rules hobbies, that rules entertainment. And since we already kind of talked about creativity in the beginning, I'm seeing you like form a new hobby that you start to do every day that slowly like impacts your creative career.
I feel like I know
through appearance. Yeah.
It's all like resonating.
So sixth house, Saturn and Neptune.
We don't talk about Saturn enough.
Saturn is a ladder, is a mountain. It's really a blessing in disguise, but I'm always joking about this. I always say, I don't want the blessing in disguise. Just give me the blessing. But blessings in disguise are always better than the blessing because you're better off. You've got the experience now. And nobody can ever take that away from you. You know, like you're better off than somebody who was just born beautiful if you had to work to get there. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
So you have sixth house Saturn and sixth house Neptune. So sixth house is not an easy house. It's a house that rules day-to-day activities, exercises, habits, hygiene. It also rules like enemies, co-workers, on jobs and stuff like that. So you having Saturn here means that you're definitely going to be like feeling it in this area, specifically in a solar return chart. When you see Saturn, it's like earlier in the year you might be struggling in that aspect, but as you keep going and going, it just gets better and better and better. So with Saturn here, you're going to be like dealing with like issues in terms of like part-time jobs, in terms of like odd jobs, in terms of co-workers, like odd relationships. You may be trying to start healthy habits and you may find yourself slacking on the beginning. And then you also have Neptune here, which Neptune is such a...
Yeah, we don't talk about Neptune either.
Neptune is my favorite planet because it's like so weird. Like nobody...
Like super cold. Which one's the coldest planet?
I don't remember. No, I think that's Jupiter.
Whichever's the farthest from the sun, right? It's the coldest.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
I think so. We know.
We know about astrology, but not enough astronomy.
But yeah, Neptune's my favorite planet because it is so very vast and big and misunderstood.
I'm gonna interrupt and say, literally, like growing up, I had this like astronomy like book, like in elementary school, and I had a fixation with Greek mythology.
So did I.
So my favorite was like Poseidon.
Me too.
Yeah.
Who was like Neptune in like
Yeah.
the Roman language. So my favorite planet was also Neptune.
Did you read Percy Jackson growing up?
Of course.
I wanted to ask.
I love.
So you saying like Neptune's your favorite planet? I'm
Yeah.
like, I understand.
Yeah.
That was like my favorite planet because I was super.
Neptune's just her. Like no.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just like the energy, just the energy, just very cool, watery. I don't know.
Yeah. No, like you literally
Like
cool
my
watery.
favorite,
Like that's it.
my favorite god was like Poseidon for
Yeah,
some
so is
reason.
mine. I love
Poseidon was goated though. So yeah, so you have Neptune here. Neptune in a solar return, because it's so big and wild and misunderstood, it's so like it really depends on how you work with
a
its
nice baby
energy.
name. I'm about to not to my baby name list.
No, that's fire. Low-key, all the planet names are fire.
Yeah,
Like
Venus,
Saturn.
Mercury.
Name your son Uranus.
So with Neptune in the sixth house,
Uranus.
you're definitely okay. Remember how I said you're not going to be like feeling this area towards the beginning of the year? You might not even be seeing that you're not feeling this area because Neptune is a planet of illusions. So you might be like deceiving yourself in how you are actually performing in this area of your life, right? But Neptune, like,
sorry, Neptune's in the sixth house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're still okay.
Yeah. So while Neptune is also deception, like it's also the illusion of grandeur. It's also like people say like Venus is the planet of art, and Venus is the planet of like pretty art, but Neptune is like the planet of art. Mm-hmm. How many times have I said art since I started your reading? Like
I feel like
that's the theme.
Neptune gives like raw art. Like more authentic.
Yes,
art.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's not just cutesy dootsy.
Yes, it's art. It's art.
Because like behind art, there's like struggles and
Yes, so definitely with Neptune in the sixth house, like that's definitely that vibe of like, oh, and it's also like on top of your moon in your natal house. So definitely like if you want to form a habit of creating art, you might struggle with it earlier in the year, but the thing with Saturn is, while it teaches you discipline, if you, like, try to keep going at it too hard, it's not going to work. If you, like, relax into that, if you make that intention and you work at it, but you don't beat yourself up at it, with Neptune there, and, like, all of these planets connecting to your first house and your natal house of career, it can become a very big blessing for you. You have Chiron in the seventh house. Now, normally I don't really read Chiron because Chiron's a smaller asteroid.
Chiron? I think I did a little research, but I don't remember.
Chiron?
Chiron is a
asteroid. It rules
yeah.
pain and healing and transformation. It's in your seventh house, so you're definitely going to be dealing with a lot of like healing in terms of relationships and stuff like that. Uranus in your eighth house, so this actually ties back to your third house in Sagittarius. Definitely now I see that you will be learning and transforming your view on life in terms of like your outlook and your philosophy and your approach to it. You will also definitely be changing your approach to like intimacy. You'll also definitely be dealing with something in terms of finances. If you were to meet somebody this year relationship wise, definitely be careful with money with them, because Uranus here, it can be great one minute and then next like not the best, Uranus is a good planet. Uranus is like Neptune. It's a good planet when it wants to be because it's so unpredictable. So
like my anus. I'm sorry, guys.
So yeah, your eighth house overall is in Taurus, which is going back to the Venus in the second house. Definitely big. Be careful with your money with your romantic partner this year, because it can definitely be a very big blessing or it can definitely be a very big misadventure. Uranus is just a hard planet to read. But yeah, so ninth house is in Gemini. Why do I keep doing that?
It's okay. This is interesting.
Where did it go? Okay. Ninth house is in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, going back to your first house. So ninth house is philosophy, it's travel, it's religion, and then you have Jupiter here too. So definitely like, okay, so whatever you're learning, whatever new outlook you have on life is going to be giving you a lot of new blessings. You're going to be getting a lot of blessings through your communication style, through what you're writing, through what you're saying, and that's good because you have Mercury in the first house. So if you're being very upfront and like extroverted about that, you're going to be seeing a lot of rewards in that. Jupiter is also your highest planet in the chart, so that's very, very good. It's a lucky planet. Definitely be careful.
Suffered.
Huh?
That Jupiter's a lucky planet.
Definitely be careful with over speaking. because Jupiter rules overindulgence, so don't talk too much. Like, but
I've gotten that my whole life.
So your midheaven is in Cancer.
I thought my midheaven was in Virgo.
No, in this chart.
Oh, in the solar chart. Okay. Sorry, I'm like.
You know what's funny though? The fact that you mentioned that you have your Mars in your 10th house in your solar return, and you have your Mars conjunct your midheaven in your natal chart.
Yeah, they're both in Virgo.
No, this one is in Cancer. Okay. The solar.
I'm just gonna shut up. I don't know.
There's that Jupiter. Stop talking. So, midheaven in Cancer, ruled by the moon, following your emotions. If you honestly make raw, art through your voice, through your emotions, if you can find a way to do that, you will be blessed this year.
I mean,
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
There's Mars is in Cancer in your 10th house, so this year you're going to be feeling a lot of ambition, a lot of drive towards making your reputation, towards making a long-lasting career for yourself. You're going to be having a long-term vision, and you're going to be putting it all into it. Mars, however, it's not as nice as Venus, because unfortunately Mars doesn't want to be just good. It can also be bad. And there goes that thing that I was just talking to you about with overdoing it. Remember when I was talking about with the Saturn, if you are too disciplined sometimes, if you're okay, I'm gonna do this on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then you miss Wednesday, you're beating yourself up. That is not the energy to have. That's the energy you might have going into this year, because you have Mars there, and it's natural to feel so passionate about something. And especially when you're in the arts, you're constantly told the more passion you feel, the better off you are. But it's not the same. Discipline and passion is not going to be your surefire way to get there, versus laying the intention, relaxing into it, embodying that energy and becoming it through your first house rather than forcing it is going to be your way. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense.
Okay, so 11th house is in Leo. So
that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, pretty good year when it comes to your friends, your networks. A lot of your energy is definitely going to be going towards your network, your connections, your higher hopes and your higher dreams, humanitarianism, and the internet. 12th house is in, the thing is, Virgo and Scorpio look so alike. Why are they both M's? Yeah.
It's because isn't the story they broke off or something?
They did. They were boyfriend and girlfriend.
They were together. They were dating. Virgo and Scorpio.
No, right?
And they were Libras in the middle as the mediator or something like that.
Oh, that's why
what?
Libras are always in the middle. Wait, you're kind of eating. That makes
No, this is the actual story.
Is that the Chinese folk story?
I don't know where I got this story from, but I'm
wait, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Libra in the middle, mediating, yeah.
I love the idea of Scorpio and Virgo being a thing.
No, I love the idea of Libras being in the middle.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So 12th house in Virgo.
Ooh, that's interesting.
12th house in Neptune, again, 12th house is my favorite house because it's basically Neptune. It's so big and it's so misunderstood, and there's just so much information.
Anything out of the planets, the most 12th house energy is Neptune.
Yes.
I'm understanding that.
With Virgo here, you're gonna have, if you work on it, you're gonna have a really good sleep schedule. That's gonna be really nice. That's gonna help you. What else with the 12th house in Virgo? If you're able to, you're not going to be able to ever fully intellectualize your feelings, because that's not the point of feelings. It's not to be intellectualized. But if you're able to portray your feelings through words, you're going to be feeling more understood by yourself and by others this year.
That's so interesting you saying that. Because I feel I struggle with intellectualizing my feelings, where I think about my feelings. I have a hard time feeling it. So the fact that it's funny, because that was one of my goals this year, was literally just to get more and does writing kind of align with this?
Yeah.
Because that's so funny, because because I used to like journal a lot. Well, not like a lot. I would try to with my feelings and stuff. And like that's like one of the things that I'm trying to start more like a habit. Where like if I'm like feeling any type of emotions, just like write it out because it does help me process my emotions rather than just sitting and thinking.
Isn't that the habit that we were talking about with the 6th house energy?
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is the 12th house and the 6th house, they're on that axis.
Yeah, they are.
So, yeah, that's it. That's your solar return.
That's the key. And no, like literally everything you said, like I'm already been feeling it. Like
you're just like processing it like right now.
No, because I'm like everything you said, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to say except yeah.
Yeah.
It's been 3 months, 4 months?
October, November, December, January. So it's been like a little over 3 months.
Okay. So yeah, you're in that energy for sure.
I feel like I'm definitely in that kind of shift because I've definitely experienced the kind of struggling kind of era we were talking about with a lot of stuff.
And it looks like it'll get better towards the end of it. So
that's why I'm like super stoked.
Yeah,
I'm like excited.
But
cool. Everything you've said, like I've already been thinking about it. Like it's already been in my brain, which is interesting because low key like whenever I do readings and stuff, like sometimes I expect them to like for you to say something that completely blows my brain out of the water. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, but like I think because I'm also very in tuned with like my intuition and everything, so this does give me a lot of like affirmation that I'm like, okay, everything I'm kind of like that's like coming to me, it's like accurate.
Yeah,
you know
most people get readings for reassurance. They just want someone to tell them what they already know.
Yeah. That actually reminds me of one of my favorite like little things I always say. I always like to say before I do any like reading or anything spiritual, I'm like, spirit guides, ancestors, angels, council of light. This is just who I ask, but anybody can ask whoever they want to ask. Show me what I do not know, confirm what I do, and help me so I can serve like the highest good of all.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, no.
So yeah,
this has just been like a really strong confirmation, and like
you're just like thinking it over. Like I can see you just thinking. Yeah. No, but you ate that up. Thank you. Okay, you ready, Saman?
My turn.
Are we pretending you don't know them already, or?
I mean, we don't have to. I need a refresher.
Okay. The way I'm literally just gonna read yours because I already did yours. Okay, so first off, damn. You got a first house stellium this year. Will be a big one. Your ascendant is in Aquarius and you have the moon, Saturn, and Neptune in the first house. This is going to be a big year of you switching it up, going against the norm, your norm, and caring less, or at least looking like you care less about what others have to say about it. You are truly going to be showing up authentically and vulnerably. This is going to happen regardless of whether you want it to or not, because the moon and her emotions being bold, front and center, can sometimes mean other people revealing personal things. And Saturn there and Neptune there can emphasize that. Not to worry though, because Saturn there is a blessing in disguise, like I always say. What may seem difficult at first in terms of how you present will be a good blessing later on. Especially with Neptune there, I would say be wary of projection, of rumors. Neptune can cast an illusion over your appearance that isn't true, but it can also cast a good illusion. Neptune and the moon are showing me that you are going to have to be very honest with the dreams you aspire to have.
I feel like the rumors and that made sense because literally I ended a friendship after my birthday because this person just kept spreading rumors about me. It's like, are we in high school? Like,
that's true.
Yeah, so I'm like, that resonates for sure.
All of that happened right after my birthday.
Yeah, like literally mad rumors and just projection. Like,
that's Neptune.
That's Neptune. Hello.
Neptune and the moon are showing me that you are going to have to be very honest with the dreams that you aspire to have. And that is going to be very good for you. On a better note, this can really put you, especially later on in the year when Saturn is in blessing mode, on a good pedestal with a lot of people. People may look up to you this year, admire you, and respect you. You will definitely be going against trends this year. I see you like drastically changing something you do impulsively and this being difficult to stick to. such as like not buying a highly popular item or being off your phone or going against the trend, and talking about it is going to put you in good graces with the public eye.
And what was the placement that was this specific thing?
This was like a combination of like the Neptune,
the moon, and
Saturn.
Oh, Saturn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Neptune would be so the moon would be like you deciding to do something against the norm, right? And the Neptune would be like it being something drastically against like the norm, like generationally. And then Saturn would be you having some slight issue with it, but then later on it being a very good blessing.
Okay.
I also see it on a different level. You're making very good changes to your appearance this year after some issues with it, because Saturn is there, you know. You have Mars in your 6th house, so you will be very healthy and into your routine at this time, and that is going to be reflected in your appearance, most likely after you have some issue with it because of Saturn. Like, for example, seeing a pimple will make you get an esthetician, or feeling bloated will make you work out more, and like these things will pay off in the long run. So I should also say that first house stelliums in a solar return are notoriously intense years. So yes, if you have a stellium in any house in a solar return.
Wait, what was the stellium again?
It was Moon, Neptune, and Saturn.
And what makes it a stellium?
Is when there's three planets.
Okay,
a lot of astrologers like to be nitpicky, and they'll be like, 3 personal planets, so they won't include like
that's what
generational.
They only include Sun, Venus.
Yeah, but Pluto matters, you know.
Poor Pluto.
Neptune.
Poor
Pluto.
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 Poor Pluto.
There was this Girl Meets World episode of
Patootie.
that character Rowan Blanchard played.
My birthday twin.
Talking about how she just wanted to save Pluto, and Pluto deserved to be a planet too. And that episode changed my brain wiring. Like, I love Pluto.
The one celebrity I have like my top 3 signs. Like, so
It's
Libra
Kim, right?
Sun and Pisces Moon Sag Rising is Kim Kardashian.
She has that exact placement.
She has a Libra Sun like me, Pisces Moon, and a Sag Rising.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
I'm not sure what kind of wow that was.
No, I mean,
but I do feel like her energy though, like the way she kind of goes about life. I'm like, personality wise.
I like Kim because she thinks she can do everything and she does it.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like not
She's
a lot.
also-
That's a very rare quality.
She's also talked about like being like a big manifester.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very rare.
I think
quality
I
to
admire
have.
her manifesting abilities.
Yeah.
But I also like have a love-hate relationship with her because sometimes she
Yeah,
can be
for
too
sure.
hungry. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, that is a rare quality to have though. Like, she took all the hunger from the world.
No,
like,
literally.
she is hungry. She's still not fed, and she basically has like everything.
No, yeah.
And she's still working hard.
That's like a fire line. She's still not fed, and she has everything.
No, like,
no, but like I started binge watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians in middle school, and like I think her personality I relate with.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all see it.
I don't think I know too much about her personality.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's okay.
So we're still on the first house because when you have a stellium in your solar return, no matter what the house is in, it's gonna be a very big year, very big and important year.
Do you see that in like a good or a bad way? And like, what does that mean?
It's not like good or bad. It's just super intense. Like, it's like gonna be like, oh yeah, 2019 was a year. Like that kind of year.
Isn't it also your 12th house year?
Oh yeah.
And I feel like 12th house perfection years, like your 23rd year is always it's a year.
It's a
So
year.
far, so good. Let me not jinx that.
Okay, so I should also say that first. Okay, so I already said that. So your first house is over your natal 7th house. So deep connection and partnerships.
I don't know why I shuddered.
are going to be very big for you. I would not be surprised if you entered an insane and intense relationship. So that's what I mean. Like, it's not good or bad. It's just like, ooh, like, and I literally said it here. Like, you know, when you fall in love, it's not a good or bad thing. It's just like,
it's just something that happens.
It's a thing. Yeah. Yeah. Good luck, gang.
Again.
Your face is not giving.
So, okay, second house time. You are going to be making money.
No, I'm like,
through...
we need to go back to that because I literally just went through an intense relationship and fell in love, and you're telling me another one is coming.
It could be the same one. Oh.
What? I claim.
Like Venus return.
And Venus is about to go into retrograde, guys.
We don't talk about her.
We don't talk about Venus.
That was a good ass movie.
I'm like, yeah.
Okay, second house time. You are going to be making money through dreams, aspirations, creativity, and spirituality. I say this because this is another thing I do that astrologers might not agree with. When you're looking at your chart, make sure you're looking at your tropical chart and make sure you're looking at it with the Placidus system. If you go through the house system, it's going to be like fucked up. They're gonna put your planets in whatever house to make everything equal.
Difference
the
between
difference
the house
is
system and Placidus.
The Placidus system is how your chart is. You know, like there's
the
no makeup. There's nothing.
The circle.
Yes, this is the circle
with no like houses or anything.
It has houses, but it's not like accurate. It's not like every house isn't
like
the same
for
size.
example, if you look at my natal chart, I think like my Jupiter or Saturn or something, it's like right on the edge of
that's
like,
what I was getting into. Yeah. So yeah, let me look at it because I have it right here. So this is like the Placidus system, and the Placidus system is when it's basically your chart with no makeup, with no like fodder or anything, and all the houses are whatever size that they were intended to be when you were born. So a lot of people, like, for example, they'll have a house that has both Aries and Taurus in it. So they'll have no actual Taurus house in their whole natal chart versus the house system, which tries to make every house equal. So they will like shift it and make it like and put your planets, the same planet that was just on the cusp of another house would be.
It's like in like
exactly. Okay, that's why like this is what I do that astrologers don't agree with. If I see a planet that is like touching another house, that planet is basically like affecting both houses. I'm gonna count it as both. So for example, you have your sun in your 10th house, but it's so close. It's on your 11th. Yes,
that's why it confuses me because sometimes I will like do like the analysis
of the 11th
and
house,
usually
right?
people say my sun is in the 11th house.
Yeah,
but I can see it, but I feel like it's on the cusp.
Yeah,
so I do kind of feel it influencing the 10th house as well.
Yeah,
so
the 10th house,
like Saturn, I think
the 10th house and 11th house are very, very similar as well.
From my understanding, like 10th house is more like work related and like, you know, and 11th house is more like friendship circles.
Yeah, it's
but they both share that like quality of dreams and like long lasting stuff. But yeah, I feel like all of my personal planets in my chart basically are sitting on top of another house, and I don't care. I'll read both charts just to see.
Yeah, but that makes sense. That's how this.
But a lot of astrologers do not fuck with that.
Like,
they're like,
what if like what if like the planet is at like a 0 degree?
I mean, it doesn't.
That means it's like 0 is like the beginning, like very fresh.
So does that mean it's like
the degree system is also something I do a little differently. A lot of people will look at the degrees and be like, oh, 1 is Aries, 2 is Taurus, 3 is Gemini, but I just look at it in thirds. So if like, for example, if your sun is in the latter third of the house, then that takes on a different energy than if it were in the first third of the house based on the degrees. But yeah, like it depends on the astrologer, I think. Yeah, but 0 degrees, it depends on where it's at. Like it could be 0 degrees and be in the middle of the house still.
So it doesn't matter with the placements.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it depends on the astrologer.
Okay. I think my question was, are like planets like at 0 degrees if it's like on the cusp, or it just does not matter where it is?
Depends on the house.
I feel like yeah,
it just depends
like
on
could you have a planet right in the middle of a house at 0 degrees?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like it's completely like it's a different system.
Yeah. Like a house can start.
I don't think it doesn't have. It doesn't have to do with houses.
What does the degrees mean? Is it like
degrees? Is like
degree tilt that the planet is in or something? I don't know.
It's the degree that the house is in. So like the entire chart is like 360.
Yeah. So it's
okay.
It's just a degree. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Here come the math nerds. So, I lost my train of thought.
Neptune.
So yes, Neptune was a part of that
First
whole
house.
stellium in the first house, but it was basically sitting right on top of the second house. So we're also going to include its energy in the second house reading.
Oh, okay.
So that's where that whole thing comes from. So since Neptune is in your second house, your possessions, your money, your finances are going to be influenced by your dreams, your aspirations, creativity, and spirituality. I mean,
So you're saying I'm gonna be big money this year?
I mean, you can be, but remember, Neptune is not good or bad, it's intense, but it's going to be influenced by that Neptune energy.
Okay.
You know? This house, I wouldn't be surprised if you started making money through your appearance as well.
So we're both making money based on our appearances. We're gonna start modeling. Or modeling era.
You have Uranus in the third house, and that starts in Taurus. So you may want to feel comfortable within like your local community. You may want to feel like your friendships are a certain way, but that's not really the plan because Uranus is there. So it's going to be a time of great change and deep transformation, specifically on your outlook and your communication style. And that is very necessary at this time, and change can always be a little difficult, but it's definitely good change. You are going to be changing the way that you are showing up and talking and conversing with people, and that is going to be very important to your identity going forward and how people perceive you going forward. This is one of those times where when you look back in the future, you're like, yeah, that was what was needed. I say this because it's I wish I had the actual chart pulled up right now, but it was overlapping some big part in your natal chart. So when it does that, I'm like, okay, this is a change that's happening this year, but it's going to impact the rest of your life. This is one of your chart rulers, and that's in the third house. So this year, you can definitely be known for how you talk, and the more you relax into this change, the better it gets. So your fourth house is in Gemini, and it has Jupiter in it. I think you also had a Gemini Jupiter.
Me, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in my natal chart.
No, in your solar return chart.
Return.
Yeah. So another big sign, but I'm pretty sure Jupiter is a generational, you know what I mean. So another big sign of communication.
Oh wait, come closer.
My phone
And like
off the bed.
kind of talk to the camera too.
Now, let me go back. Your fourth house is in Gemini, and it has Jupiter in it. So another big sign of your communication style, writing, talking, being a very blessed aspect and being a very important thing for you this year. Now, Jupiter is known to not do that well in the sign of Gemini because Jupiter is at home in the sign of Sagittarius, and Gemini is opposite the sign of Sagittarius. So it's definitely going to be very important for you to remind yourself how lucky you are, and that can be easy to forget with Jupiter and Gemini, but that is also that's still a good thing. You're going to be experiencing a lot of blessings and miracles and ease and relaxation around your house and around your family, because remember, wherever Jupiter is in your solar return chart is whatever area of life is going to be the most easiest. And I wouldn't be surprised if you were to move into a nice house this year. Your fifth house is also in Gemini, and Jupiter is sitting right on top of it. So again, we're going back to that rule. Jupiter is really in your fourth house, but since it's very close, we're going to do the same thing. This means you're going to be having a lot of fun expressing yourself, because Jupiter in the fifth house is like, fifth house rules hobbies. The fifth house rules self-expression, sex, creativity, casual dating, sex, like all of that.
Us with our hobbies.
We're hobbying it up. Some people can relate. Hobby lobby.
This is where the tea comes in. This means that you're going to be having a lot of fun expressing yourself. You're going to be really into that, and that's going to be your whole mojo this year. And you're going to just lean into all the blessings that comes through it. You may find your romantic partner through that. It's going to be a very fun year in terms of going out and about, hobbies, casual flings, or even meeting somebody serious through a casual fun night. Jupiter is also the planet of indulgence, so you still have to kind of be careful around having too much fun with Jupiter in your fourth house.
I'm having too much fun.
With Jupiter in your fourth house, definitely wrap it up when it comes to casual hookups if you care for that. But yeah, like that's the thing with astrology. Every single planet is good and bad, and like even Jupiter will fuck you over.
Good thing I'm celibate.
So your 6th house is in Cancer, and it has Mars in it. And if you remember from Sweekriti's solar return, the 6th house is very, it's an interesting house. So you're definitely going to be making a routine or a ritual of doing the things that you love to do for hobbies this year, and it's going to just be a lot of fun. Your day-to-day is going to be a lot of fun because with Mars there, it gives you the motivation to go into your day-to-day hobbies and routines and stuff like that. You're going to be tapping into a routine that you might hold on to for a very long time. That's going to be healthy for you. Again, I see like working out and exercising.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Definitely.
Yep, just got my Pilates machine.
Definitely watch out for any issues with co-workers and hidden enemies, because the 6th house rules that, and Mars being there is a planet of like aggression at the end of the day. But yeah, definitely see your day-to-day looking good, and like as a result the 1st house like also is impacted by that. So your 7th house is in Leo this year, and that's the second thing in your chart that points to relationships being a very big focus this year, specifically romantic ones. It could be business ones, but mainly romantic ones, because we had the 5th house energy earlier, and the 7th house being in Leo could mean that takes a lot of your attention this year. It could also mean that you can gain a lot of attention from this year from the person that you choose to surround yourself with the most this year.
I definitely like. Oh wait.
Your 8th house is in Virgo, and that's where your Sun and Mercury is. So, like,
what does the 8th house rule again? I always forget that one.
Is another big.
Isn't it like transformation?
Yeah.
Money.
You would know that because you're a Scorpio Venus.
Yeah, I would know that.
And isn't my Venus in Scorpio too?
In this year, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Do you know what Venus mine is in this year? I think I forgot.
It is in. It's in Scorpio.
Yeah, yours was in Scorpio.
I forget that the 24th year, your Sun and your Venus return back to where they normally are in your chart.
Oh, okay.
So,
got you. Back to my Scorpio.
8th house. 8th house is that wonderful, wonderful house of tax. I don't know where tax came from. Tax, death, transformation, rebirth, sex, inheritance.
Inheritance, yeah.
Yeah, I did get in.
Occult. Yeah, 8th house is a wonderful house that will fuck you over.
Oh.
It's interesting you're like calling my Scorpio Venus, because out of all the houses I've researched, the two that really intrigue me is the 8th and the 12th house.
Yep. That's that Scorpio Venus.
Mine is the 2nd house, the money.
I don't even know what the 2nd house represents.
Money.
Oh.
And yeah.
So your 8th house is in Virgo, and that's where your Sun and Mercury is. So again, there's that intense energy, this being a very intense year with deep changes being made to your personality because of what the 8th house brings. A lot of your attention could be going to, as I said before, taxes, death, inheritance, and joint finances, and sex. Your Mercury is in a really good aspect to your Saturn this year. So that's like the 5th sign that your communication is going to be very important and blessed this year. So you could find yourself talking about these topics a lot. Oh, you're doing it right now.
Yeah. This is a very divine year for both of us.
You're literally like saying things that we're doing.
Yeah.
They're like, if you guys can find a way to communicate.
Hello, guys.
Phones. So you could definitely be shedding your ego. Yo, I actually just had a flashback to the Popeyes that we had earlier.
No, me. I've been thinking about that for mad long. Where's round 2?
So, oh yes, and the thing with the 8th house that I'm just gonna say it because I already wrote it down here. Anytime I see 8th house placements in a natal chart, you're forever going to be changing your personality. When you see it in a solar return chart, you're changing your personality deeply that year. So you have Sun and Mercury there. So I already put this in there. You're shedding a layer of your skin. Literally, while I was doing this, I feel that
happening.
I was literally seeing a snake shedding
and it's the year of the snake.
Completely forgot that, but
and I'm a snake as well.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is your year.
Yeah, basically, guys.
Last year was supposed to be my year. Supposed to.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm a dragon, and it was a dragon year.
Oh.
And you were dragged through the mud.
But yeah, you will be even better on the other side of that. So shedding shedding hurts a little. You know, shedding is not an easy process, but it's worth it in the end.
I'm imagining you should have not said that, because I'm imagining Saman as like a snake in the desert.
I don't know why I specifically saw like a rattlesnake. Like,
yes, no, like literally like in the desert. Wait, and you're wearing the shirt and it kind of does
wow.
Like rattlesnake.
Too many coincidences. So your 9th house is in Scorpio with Venus in it. And you're definitely going to be delving into the deeper topics this year with philosophy and religion and humanitarianism. You're going to be having a lot of fun this year, going on a lot of adventures, because 9th house is the house of long-term travel.
I think you mentioned that for me too, right?
Oh.
So interesting.
You can podcast trip.
Gaining a lot of love or money from adventures and travel and your outlook on life. You could be meeting somebody on a longer trip.
Yeah, I mean, it's on everywhere.
Yeah, we need to go on a trip, because apparently you're supposed to meet someone on trips. I'm supposed to meet someone traveling.
And with that, Scorpio Venus is giving a very interesting sex life abroad this year.
I can test to that. As a fellow Scorpio Venus.
Your 10th house is in a Sagittarius. And it's definitely a confirmation of what I just spoke on about like traveling, going on adventures, being known for your outlook on life, and being vulnerable with these things will be blessing you. Your 11th house is also in Sagittarius. So you see, this is the Placidus system. If I had used the whole house system, this whole thing would be wrong. But your 11th house is also in Sagittarius and is in your natal 5th house. So you could be connecting and networking with a lot of people that you meet during your adventures. Okay, so like that's all the same things. Like if you travel, you'll have a good time. Last but not least, you have your 12th house in Capricorn, and Pluto is right there. Now Capricorn doesn't enjoy being in the 12th house. It's not like a bad and the 12th house is normally ruled by Pisces, which is everything that we can't see, taste, smell, touch, and hear. So, like, you may run into some resistance around these aspects of life. And especially with Pluto there, Pluto is asking you to get rid of the past. So, like, now that I'm thinking about it, like, how we were just talking about you shedding your skin, like, this could be how you're shedding your skin, you know? Like, getting rid of, like, these old ways of thinking. And getting rid of the past. Pluto can be brutal at times, because like I'm gonna say this for the third and final time, Pluto is a roller coaster. If you go down, you go up.
That little tiny
Chihuahua
Chihuahua planet will fuck you up. So the 12th house is very mysterious and big. And even though it can't be like described in an easy way like the 10th house, it still affects us deeply. So like if you're having a hard time in the 12th house, if you like have Pluto and Capricorn there and you're not doing so well, it's gonna like eventually ruin things like your mental health and your sleep. And these are like fundamentals to like life, you know? So and also, this was something another astrologer, I forgot their name, but it was like a very niche astrologer said, and I never let it go. The 12th house kind of rules how we're viewed after we pass. Like, it's kind of like the legacy. A lot of people say that's like the 10th house or the 11th house.
So interesting.
But yeah,
that does make sense.
Because a lot of people say like your legacy is connected to your like midheaven and then your 10th house.
Yeah. So with the 10th, like their whole theory was 10th house would like work, reputation, the life that you have when you're living here, and then the 11th house is like your dreams, like your aspirations, bigger things than just like your work. And then your 12th house is your legacy of like after you pass and like how you're remembered. And they like pulled up a bunch of like celebrity charts, and like it just changed my outlook on it.
That's interesting.
So yeah, so because of that and this deep transformation that you're having in the 12th house this year, it is transforming you into the person who you are meant to become. And that is going to be formed into the legacy that we leave behind. And that is pretty much it. And I want to end it all by saying astrology is not like tarot in the sense that it is not a predictive thing. We
it's
at
more
the
so
end
like
of
a
the day,
roadmap, right?
Yeah, it's a roadmap. We at the end of the day have like the decision, the free will to do what we want to do with our lives. So if you look at your solar return and you see something, like, don't freak out. And
me right
even
now?
if you see something good and you're like, oh my god, this year is going to be the best year of my life, don't just like sit around and like
life is life.
Yeah.
It's gonna be ups and downs.
So yeah.
No, yeah, because I'm like, I'm in a drought right now. I haven't seen a man in a long time.
Like, shit,
But
if
I'm
I meet a man, I gotta be careful. I can't.
Yeah, you're like, damn. Would you
With the finances, I'm like,
no, yeah.
You're gonna keep your
And
hand
I'm
in
like,
your wallet.
I don't think I can afford to fall in love this year again.
Okay. I think I'm gonna stop speaking for like 5 minutes.
so
Yeah,
I think this is it for now.
Yeah.
So we did a little wrap up of our solar return charts. Very intriguing.
Yes, for sure. Thank you for that.
Definitely deeply resonated with it. I mentioned this. What about you?
I feel like I'm well, obviously it's still the beginning, but I feel like I'm resonating, especially with like the first house stellium, and just me being more honest with myself about my like dreams and what I want and things like that. Not quite seeing the love stuff yet. Like, literally, I'm in a drought, and it seems to be very like prevalent in this, like, you know, aspect of my, but I think it makes sense though, because Aliou accidentally did my how my 24 is gonna go, and it said the same thing, like love was going to be very significant in that year especially, and you were like, you basically said the same thing, like, if I want to manifest love, like, this is the time to do it, like, that's literally what you told me. So I mean I'm open to it. Obviously, I'm still dealing with a heartbreak, but open to that. And I'm also just open to, you know, I feel like everything makes sense. Like, we're literally sitting in front of a screen, making art, speaking,
like, the
being authentic,
saying,
and things like that. It's like literally crazy. Yeah. So definitely excited for that, and excited for this year in general. It is like 23. Everyone says like 19, 23, and like 27 are typically like the hard years. Like, I'm like, I'm doing well so far, not gonna jinx myself, but I'm definitely still super excited and open for what's to come. And y'all gonna like me this year. What you said? What you gonna say?
Yeah, it turns out I'm gonna be gorgeous even more.
No, yeah,
apparently we're
I'm
gonna
like,
have the
gorgeous,
fattest glow
up, getting mad attention. I'm gonna be inspiring people. We're gonna be traveling. I'm gonna be in love. I'm gonna be overseas. Like,
period.
What's your year looking like? You can't compare, okay? Let me stop. But yeah, definitely super excited for that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. And yeah, everything just like resonates to the T. And yeah, definitely looking forward to the year.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for coming on, Aliou. We hope you enjoyed being on the Pregame Diary podcast and pregaming with us.
Feel free to go read your own solar return charts.
Yes.
Go check it up. Go look it up, you know.
Do your research.
And big tip, I actually told Saman this. If you want even more information on your solar return chart, just look at your past years and look at what planets was doing what and compare that information.
That is a good tip.
But thank you for having me. I really enjoyed being here.
We enjoyed having you. Good conversations were had today. And yeah, we hope you guys are enjoying the season so far. But yeah, thank you all for watching. We have concluded. Glasses are giving empty right now. The girls have pre-gamed. And yeah, we had so much fun today. We really hope you enjoyed the episode. Remember to follow us on all platforms. Keep up with us at the Pregame Diaries. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.